All right, Dave Schultz. Good morning, Acadiana. We lived through the bad weather, which I'm not sure was quite as bad as we thought it was going to be. At least here in Lafayette, it did not look good in New Orleans, and then caught everybody by surprise in Mobile. I mean, what is that about? I mean, they knew it was coming. Everybody was warned it was coming, and I guess it came a little fast out of nowhere. It got flooded. I'm sure a bunch of people know, going to Destin in Orange Beach from here, you can go on top of the highway or you can go, on top, which is the highway, or you can go on the bottom, but you can get flooded on the bottom. So it appeared that people were caught very quickly with the bad storm yesterday. All right, we'll talk Cajuns baseball. Again, Cajuns attendance, and I don't have answers, but I don't know why. Someone's going to have to explain to me why that's the case. Pelicans taking on the Kings tonight. That's a big ball game. Spencer Arrighetti started out good, didn't finish up that way. I think we have a Bourbon Raffle. And what else did I have to talk about today? Did we do this? Is this everywhere? Let me see here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. LSU's obviously at Tennessee. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. Lockdown Sunbelt dropped. We got Texas State's G.J. Kinney, and he didn't say it once. He didn't say it twice. I don't even think he said it 3 times. I think he said it 4 times. So we recapped the QB mess that was over there, right? With T.J. Finley coming and going, and then Jaden DeLaura coming and going. And it all happened very quickly. And I said, G.J. Kinney on the phone to, former JMU quarterback Jordan McLeod in 3-2-1. And he mentioned it a handful of times. So it's funny that he did that. So you never know who's seeing your tweets. So that's nice. Also, my nephew reminded me, they put Lockdown Sunbelt in their hype video, not once, but twice. I made Texas State's hype video a couple of times. So we appreciate that. Again, you just never know who's paying attention to what you're doing. Okay. Cajuns taking on the chin last night, 7-2. So I'm not going to, hindsight 2020. I was nervous last night, and I think I mentioned it yesterday. I had a bad feeling about it. I don't know if it's because of the way they played on Tuesday against Prairie View. I don't know. I had a bad feeling last night. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I felt that way for 3 weeks because I did. I thought they were going to beat La Tech. La Tech was tough. They came, the starter had a nasty changeup and then could pump it past you up to 91. They brought in their Friday night starter after that for an inning. They have a great setup guy, and they have Country Shohei, their DH, Ethan Bates, is their closer. And yet the Cajuns all had opportunities. They left 11 men on base, right? 5 in the first 2 innings. They had runners on at second and third and couldn't get it done in the first. They had bases loaded, or maybe even they had bases loaded in the first. Let me see. Plays. I like when I don't close out my thing. They had bases loaded in the first. So base hit there, and you score 2. Then they left 2 guys on in the second. So they did leave 5 on in the first 2 innings, a couple base hits, and it's 4-0, and you're off to the races. The pitching staff struggled a little bit last night for the Cajuns. Marshall only went an inning and 2/3. He may have been able to get out of it, but they went righty instead of lefty-righty for the matchup against Furr. And Holtzhammer got out of it in the second inning, could not get out of it in the third. I mean, the Cajuns pitching staff gave up the most hits they've given up all year long, 15. JT Etheridge, though, was good to see him pitching well. He went 3 innings, walked 1, struck out 6. He kept the Cajuns in the game. Right? Martinez came in, pitched the 9th, 1 inning, nothing doing. But Holtzhammer struggled after he got out of, the second inning. Christie, he gave up 2 runs. J.R. Tollett making his season debut little bit of a tough spot for the kid. Then now there were 2 outs. I was going to say nobody on, but there was 1 on in the 5th inning, and he came in, got out of it, and then gave up the runs after that. So, give it up to La Tech. They played well, and I agree with Matt Diggs when he said, we didn't lose this one. They beat us, right? The bats that have been getting the job done all season long, or not all season long, all streak long, weren't even quieted, right? Again, they had 10 base hits, but just couldn't get, the key base hits. Even later on, right? Afterwards, I think they had runners on at second and third later on, didn't get the run home. John Taylor leads off with a double. He's stranded on at third, right? You make it, if you go from 7-2 to maybe 7-4 heading into the 9th, right? I know everyone says the bigger difference is, 5 runs. I'm a big difference between 3 and 4 runs because you just don't need that much, right? Especially 2. But if you cut it to 3, all of a sudden I can get a bloop, bleeder, hit by pitch, walk, whatever, and get a second one. All of a sudden I got the tying run. In fact, crazy last night, as ridiculous as it was, Cajuns had a couple of runners on in the 9th. And, if Connor Higgs gets a base hit, the tying run's on Tech. That's insane. And he struck out. So it didn't get nearly that far. But, you cut it to, you make it, 7-3, 7-4, I always say, give Louisiana Tech, or the opponent, in this case, Louisiana Tech, give them a chance to choke. And a lot of times they do, not Louisiana Tech, but you give a team that had a big lead and just give them a chance to tighten up a little bit. You're rolling, and it never got that way. It never did. The Cajuns could not get that big base hit, and for the most part, couldn't get the big outs. They have gotten a lot of big outs over the streak, and they did not get them last night, at least not early on. It should be noted, and Matt Diggs did note, they are still on an 11-game Sun Belt winning streak. Marshall with a big win last night over West Virginia. West Virginia ran themselves out of the game. They had runners on at first and second, nobody out. The runners took off early when the batter was going to square to bunt, and the pitcher turned around, and they didn't only pick off the runner from second base, but the runner from first base got caught. The runner from first base tried to sneak into second and didn't, and he got caught coming off of first. So West Virginia ran themselves out of an inning. Marshall comes from behind to win it late, and that's a nice win for Marshall. So how do we feel about this? Because while Marshall is improved, they're still kind of bringing up the rear, right? They did beat Texas State 2 ball games last week. They did take 2 out of 3. Let's see where they are. They're 12-19, 5-7 in the Sun Belt with a nice win over West Virginia. So they'll be coming in. So do we feel, so there's 2 ways of looking at this. If this was Southern Miss or South Alabama, or just for the sake of conversation, Coastal Carolina coming in, the Cajuns would be up for that, right? Are the Cajuns going to have an issue to bounce back because they're expecting to beat Marshall? I'm expecting to beat Marshall. All right. Friday night is going to be tough, right? Because you got Herman and Langevin. You got the crafty lefty and the powerful righty, and good luck with that. All right. Now, our guy Kevin Foote did say, and we need to look into more of this, that Marshall does have, let's see here, one really good pitcher. All right. Let's see here. Marshall baseball stats. And do you throw him against, do you move him to Saturday? Let's see here what we got. I'd be honest with you, I do not know. Pitching wise, let's see what they got. So we got to take the starter. Let's see here. I don't know if Mama Schultz is yapping at me. We did get a little bit bad weather, but it was not nearly that bad. New Orleans got it much worse. If someone can, on a side note, if someone can go in and figure out how to fix New Orleans, right, you'll be a hero. You're going to have to raise taxes on the city, on the state. You're going to go have to get federal dollars. It'll take a decade. But someone somewhere has to start fixing New Orleans. You just can't get a little bit of rain. And maybe it was a lot of rain and just flood every day. It just, it's going to happen now for the next 5 or 6 months, 4 or 5 months. It's going to rain and it's going to flood. And that's an issue. All right. We are, again, my Wi-Fi is not great. We're going to have to check out what the issue is. I'm not getting the Marshall stats. So are we concerned? And Matt Dags was like, but the bouncing back is the important part. You still have the Sun Belt winning streak. Let's take the day off today, which he said they're going to do, and come back on Friday raring to go against Marshall. But are they going to be taking Marshall for granted because they're Marshall and they'd be up if it was a tougher opponent? I'm not quite as concerned because of the pitching of, what you got right now with Herman and Langevin and Chase Morgan and even Carson Fluno. That's why I'm not nearly as concerned. I am a little bit concerned because with the hitting. Because, again, everybody's been hitting for the past, 16 ball games. And I don't think they hit as well as the score would indicate against Prairie View. And they didn't come through last night as they have during the streak. So they had a bunch of runs and a bunch of hits against Prairie View and a bunch of hits and no runs, 2 runs against La Tech. So that's where I'm a little bit concerned. All right, so let's see here. So Bryce Blevins appears to be their really good starting pitcher, and he's pretty good. I mean, he's got a complete game. We go nuts if the Cajun starter goes 6. He's really good. So Bryce Blevins, and let's see if they're game by game. This is for Marshall. He's 2-0 with a 1.68 ERA. The other starters, struggle. You got a guy 0-2 with a 4.68 ERA. Drew Harlow with a 4.86 ERA. Chad Heiner with a 9.62 ERA. And Cole Ajami with a 10 ERA. And those are the only guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the only 5 starters they've got. So let's go back to the schedule. See if we can find last Friday night for Marshall. That would have been Texas State. They won that ball game 7-1. Let's see the box score. All right. Let's see here. Box score, Texas State. Well, that was Drew Harlow who pitched in that ball game. He gave up 1 unearned run in 7 innings. Where are those the numbers? I don't see those numbers. Oh, well, he's the one with a 4.86 ERA. Obviously, that came down when you're only giving up 1 unearned run. So that's your Friday night starter. I guess what I got to do is go to the roster. Let's see, because let me see if this guy's coming out of the pen or let's see here. What did we say his name was? Brady? Is it Brady Baxter? Let me see. What did we say his name was? Bryce Blevins. Okay. Bryce Blevins. And we can't find it. Bryce Blevins. Okay. There we go. Lefty. 5'11". Just a sophomore out of Louisa, Kentucky. Let's see what his stats are recently. Well, last time out, he went up against Texas State. Maybe that was Friday. Let's see here. Nope, that was Saturday. He went 9 innings and pitched a shutout. Uh-oh. So he's their guy. Does it say what games he started? It doesn't. Okay. So, he's gone 2 complete games. I don't know if that was extra innings or not. So he lost to Southern Miss on the 16th. He gave up 1 run on 2 base hits. Against Arkansas State in 6 1/3 innings in a win, he gave up 2 runs, 1 earned on 7 base hits. Against App, he did give up 6 runs, only 3 earned on 8 base hits in 3 innings. But last time out against Texas State, 9 inning 4 hitter. You're not seeing that too often in the Sun Belt, right? I'd love to see how many complete games are in the Sun Belt right now. But this guy has 2 complete games. Is that right? Do I have to go back to that Southern Miss game? I mean, he unfortunately lost that ball game. Only made 90 pitches in that game. And his win over Texas State, 111. So that's a Saturday night pitcher. So there is a little pressure on the Cajuns to win on Friday night. And we'll also say the Cajuns were a little bit lost at the plate when they were getting the soft stuff. They did not adjust to the soft stuff. And then you had all kind of funky stuff, right? The Friday night guy came in, he's throwing harder. They got a side-arming right-hander coming in. And then 2 guys at the back of the bullpen are just throwing heat. And the Cajuns were off balance all night long. Kind of like the opponents are when the Cajuns throw Herman and Langevin. So we'll see if the Cajuns can come away with a win on Friday and, keep the streak going. It is a Schultzycast. We're up to 18, not bad. On Thursday morning, probably some of the streak has something to do with it. I do want to ask, because I don't have the answers. I don't. Where are all the fans? Right? We're getting, it's died down a little bit because there hasn't been any news lately. But remember, with all of the hoo-ha about, the basketball program and fans wanting Bob Marlin gone and no one showing up to the games because of Bob Marlin, why is no one showing up to the games for the Raging Cajuns baseball team? Well, Dave, we don't show up for Prairie View A&M. Okay. Well, they announced 25-14. It was closer to 5-14. There was nobody here on a Tuesday night. First time ranked in 7 years on a 15-game winning streak, and 500 people show up on a gorgeous Tuesday night, although weather was coming. Air was a little stale, but wasn't that bad. And then last night, you're on a 16-game winning streak. You got La Tech coming in, and I was trying to figure out the excuses of why fans weren't there last night. Again, I'm not expecting 5,000 or 6,000 fans on a weeknight. Just not going to happen. People work, got school, games do start early, so you can leave. I will say I don't think a whole lot of people left last night. A lot of people stayed, I thought. I was actually kind of impressed. And they announced over 3,000 last night, but there may have been 1,000 or 1,500. It just, to me, it's disappointing. And so I was trying to figure out excuses on why fans didn't show up. Like there were 3 clouds in the sky, it was too sunny, or Bob Marlin. There's got to be a reason on why a team on a 16-game winning streak in a, less than a decade old facility is not drawing solid crowds midweek on the best team that this school has had in a decade, right? This is the best team that they've had since 2014. Forget the RPI, forget all that. I mean, are we blaming it on the marketing? Are we blaming it on the Cajuns? Where are the fans? Again, not expecting 5,000 or 6,000. But I don't think it's too much to ask 2,500, 3,000 to show up. Where is everybody? What is the reasons that nobody's showing up? It's not nobody, right? But that's the fan base. There were less than 7. By the way, I've confirmed this. There were 7,000 fans for the weekend series against ULM. 7,000, right? Maybe even less. I know what they announced on Friday. There may have been 3,500 there. I'm going to guess less. I don't know what they announced on Saturday, but, Jay Walker says it's not as good a crowd as Friday, but still a good crowd for a Saturday. I'm going to guess 2,500. And then on Sunday, I was there. It's about 1,000 on Sunday. So that's 7,000 out of, potential 18,000. So we'll see, I guess, what happens come Southern Miss in South Alabama by the time South Alabama comes around, the kids are out of school. So who knows what that'll mean. But I don't have the answers. I will compare it a little bit to my Orange. So growing up back in the day, regular crowd shuffles in. But it's usually and we're talking football, about 40,000 in the dome. Good crowds would be sold out. Miami, if Penn State came in, whatever the case was, if they're playing Colgate, so maybe it's 35,000, but a normal BC game is 40 to 45,000. All right. And so over the years, right, a ton of businesses have left the area, right? Manufacturing jobs, these really good blue collar jobs, high 5-figure, low 6-figure jobs. And they left. And these were the people who would go to the top of the dome. They would sit, they don't have season tickets. They're going to take their family maybe once, maybe twice. And a lot of these people left. So now what do you get? You get 30,000, 32,000. The lower bowl's usually filled, but that's about it. They have even a tough time selling out Clemson when Clemson comes to town. It's really embarrassing. We'll see what my guy Fran Brown does now, but that remains to be seen. Same thing here, right? The oil services industry crashed back when oil was way down, not like 20, but like before that, right? But I mean, it's, been a resurgence, but I don't think the jobs came back. And so I think the people who came to the games, right, like in football, 13, 14, 15, right? And it was 20 to 25,000. It really hasn't been close to that since then. Basketball used to be 4,000 or 5,000 on a weekend. It's 2 to 3. Baseball, used to be 3,500 to 4,000 on a weekend. Now you're lucky if you get that. You build a new stadium, you think more people would come. And I mean, that's my only, I don't think it's an excuse, reason. That's a reason, right? That's not an excuse. That's a reason. So I don't have the answers. I don't pay to go to the games. I think $5 for a hot dog may be on the high side. I do enjoy a small popcorn for $3. That's better than the Cajun Dome, which is a smaller popcorn and more expensive because the Cajuns don't run that. So I don't have an answer on why more people aren't coming to the games. We'll see what happens this weekend, if it's good weather against Marshall or not. But again, there's no reason why you shouldn't have 4,000 a ball game. You're one of the best teams in America, and the fans don't come out. I don't know why. I don't have an answer. I will post this clip of video, so someone's gonna have an answer and respond. But I don't know. But it's not Bob Marlin's fault. I know that. It's not Matt Degg's fault. It's not the team's fault. Can't be the administration's fault. You have the best team in a decade. You have a new facility, newish anyways, and the stadium was not half full. And I don't care what the announced attendance was. It was not even close. So I don't know where that responsibility falls. I do think I've brought this up and maybe, not maybe, but the stadium was built to host regionals and supers. And they built it too big, right? They probably should have made it 4,000, maybe 4,500. You want to make it so there is demand. Now there's no demand. If you want a ticket, you can probably find a ticket. All right. It is the Schultzycast. Didn't have a good day yesterday running wise. I was off to a really good start, and then I had Orange Theory, and I tweaked my ankle. I'm not happy about that. So we're going back this morning. Hopefully we'll be better off. Do have a bourbon raffle, and the raffle is, I think more people can come taste. So there's a tasting. It's an Ambassador Wine and Spirits. Have a chance at a Pappy. It was a $25 raffle, and I got the last ticket. They had a raffle around Mardi Gras. I went to the Senior Bowl, and I got my ticket before I went to the Senior Bowl, and I was like 5th. And I think they sold out like that day of, maybe it was a couple of days of. In fact, they were being told that they were going to get canceled, that the event was going to get canceled if they didn't sell out. This thing sold out immediately. Maybe there's better bottles. You get it's an opportunity buy, and someone's not going to give me a bottle of Pappy 12. But if there's only 25 people and there's a bottle of Pappy 12 and 6 bottles of Penelope Rio, which is impossible to find, that's 7 bottles out of 25. Like I have a better than 25% chance of winning. So that'll be good. Plus, there'll be finger foods and we'll tasting balconies. I'm not a big Texas bourbon guy, but we'll taste it. We'll see what that's like. So that is something to do on a Thursday night. Also tonight, the Pelicans taking on the Kings. So that'll be something to do after the tasting. And it's a big ball game. I don't think the big game last night, wasn't it? I think it was the Nuggets and the T-Wolves, right? We need the Nuggets to win. Also, we do have the Masters. I forgot to add that. We'll watch that all day today. Let's see here. Scores. Let's see who won last night. The Mavericks are on fire, by the way. The Thunder won and the Nuggets won. I'm very happy that the Nuggets won. The team you do not want to face in the first round is Nuggets. I'll take my chances with any other team outside of the Nuggets. So let's see the standings. Nuggets lead Oklahoma City by 1 and Minnesota by 1. Pelicans are a half a game ahead of the Suns and 2 games ahead of the Kings. So if you win this ball, and they're 2.5 behind the Mavericks, so they're not going to the 5th spot. Mavericks, in fact, have won 5 straight, 9 out of 10 at least. And they have just apparently clinched a playoff spot or out of the play-in tournament. We don't see what the Y stands for. I don't know. They got Y. Let's see here. Division. So they clinched the division. Pelicans leading the division most of the year. And they went on that little skid at home, of course. And now they got a big ball game against the Kings. The Kings, I guess the Kings still have a shot at a 6 seed. So this is a big ball game for the Kings, right? Because then they'll be 1 game behind the 6 seed, or at least the Pelicans, depending on what the Suns do here. And the Suns, no one's playing for the Clippers, although I don't think anybody played for them the other night. I didn't realize that. Kawhi, Eddie George, and Harden are out for the Clippers. I don't think they played much the other night. So we'll see what happens there. I presume the Suns will bounce back against the Clippers tonight. But if, God forbid, the Pelicans beat the Kings, that basically eliminates them because that'll be a 3-game lead. And if they win and the Suns lose, that'll be a 1.5 game lead with 2 to go. You got the Warriors and you got the Lakers. You basically have to win one of those to secure the 6th seed. So it's if the Suns lose to the Clippers. So it's a big ball game tonight. What's the line? I presume that the Pelicans are slight underdogs, right? Kings got to be a 3 or 4 point favorite in this one, right? Let's see here. 1.5. So slight underdog. That'll be something to do tonight. Masters got to be off and running. So we'll come back. We'll watch that most of the day. Has it started yet? Right. That'll be fun. The best thing about the Masters, it used to not be this way, right? Growing up, back in my day, we didn't get the front side of the Masters. Really, we just got, highlights and, we started on the back end. That was a big deal. And then now we get all day coverage. So that'll be a pretty good play has been suspended already. All right. That's not great. Have they even started? No, they haven't even started yet. Play has been suspended, delayed due to inclement weather. First round will begin at 10:30 Eastern time. All right. Well, we'll be back from Orange Theory around 9:15. 10:15 Eastern time. So as you guys know, it's all about me. So I'm not going to miss any of the Masters. Any groups? I didn't see any good groups teeing off. Jose Maria Olazabal is teeing off, but he's in the second group. Former champion Danny Willett as well. Charles Schwartzel, Gary Woodland, Zach Johnson. These tee times have not been updated, I don't think. Sergio Garcia, 10:42. I presume, is that Eastern time? I don't know, sometime. Oh, it is Central time. So Jose Maria Olazabal, 9:42. When we say Sergio is at 10:42. I think Tiger is later on tonight. Phil is at 11. All right. Tony Finau at 11. So Phil and Tony Finau in the same group. All right. So we'll have a chance to watch this as long as the weather clears. So that'll be good. All right. And again, a big game for the Pelicans, trying to secure that 6th seed. And I don't know if we got a Brandon Ingram. I presume he's out tonight. Did we get a Brandon Ingram? Let's see here. Brandon Ingram update. Let's see if we got a Brandon Ingram update. Latest. I mean, I presume he's out. I did not see anything here on the Twitterverse. Let's see here. See if we got any news on him. Still sidelined 8 hours ago. Be nice if he played in the Warriors-Lakers thing, but again, I ruled out for Thursday's game, although Ingram appears to be nearing a return. This is CBS Sports. Ramping up for practice and participation. He won't be able to suit up for Thursday's contest. He'll have 2 more opportunities to take the hardwood before the playoffs. So just like the Cajuns, are they going to be up for the, Marshall versus being up for, if they're playing Southern Miss or South Alabama, there's risk reward. If you win this ball game, you have a really good shot at securing the 6th seed, and you still have more than a week off, right? Again, I don't know what the schedule is going to be if that's been announced, but they're not going to play until Saturday or Sunday, the 20th or the 21st. Maybe even be more than that, but usually it's the first 2 days. You're going to have an extra week. That's big. I don't think it's the worst thing if I don't know how you would handle it. Is he raring to go or not? The risk reward. If he's raring to go, does he play 35 minutes? I doubt it. But can he come off the bench? Does he want to do that? Let's play 15 to 20 minutes to shake off the rust. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know how NBA teams handle that. I don't know if he'd want to come off the bench, playing that kind of role. Maybe he finishes up the game. I don't know. And if he's coming off the bench, why don't you just play him? Well, it's just kind of, to get him back in game shape per se. Because even if he plays, Friday and Sunday, he's still going to have a week. He's not going to play again until Saturday or the following Sunday. It is what it is. We'll see. It's a big ball game tonight for the Pelicans, and I'm going to presume the Suns are going to win. So the Pels are still going to have to, do something against the Warriors and the Lakers. And can you imagine finishing up with wins over the Suns, Warriors, and Lakers at the end of the season to secure that 6th spot? That'd be good. All right. Started out good last night for Spencer Arrighetti. It did not, unfortunately, finish up that way. Former Raging Cajun pitcher, I think, went 2 innings of shutout baseball, and then I guess it kind of crashed down on him. Let's see if we can find the box on MLB.com. He went 3 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. But he did go 2 shutout innings, and then came crashing down on him in the 3rd. He hadn't pitched again that much in 2 outings. He pitched, like we mentioned, that 8 1/3 innings. Royals hammered the Astros 11-2. Astros off to a tough start. Royals are off to a pretty good start, 8-4. Astros off to a tough start, 4-9. Altuve 1 for 2. I mean, Abreu was just struggling. He came up with guys on base all night long. He's hitting 0-81, 0 for 3. I mean, do you sit him down? You send him down, right? Their AAA team is right there. It's outside of town. I don't know if you can say, hey, why don't we give you a day off, go down to the minors, tweak some things, because it's tough to, how good are you? Can you tweak something in batting practice and take it to you? Or does it take 2 or 3 batting practices and then putting it into action, right? It's not even you get 4 chances. That's tough to do. So I don't know if Jose Abreu would be up for that, but you're paying him, you got to play him, but he's an automatic out. He's not even hitting 100. What's his overall numbers? I mean, how many hits does he have? And this guy's an RBI machine, or was, right? I mean, he was awesome. Let's see what his stats were. I don't know why it doesn't want to give me his overall career stats summary. He's a 285 career hitter with almost 1,000 RBIs and 261 home runs. Oh, here we go. Okay. So he did finish with 90 RBIs in 2023, struggled in 2022 a little bit, but 117 RBIs, 123 RBIs, 102, 100, 107. He started out with 4 straight, 100 RBI seasons. He's an RBI machine, or he was. I mean, he is 3 for 37. On the other hand, and I know it's the big leagues, Kyle DeBarge started out like 3 for 24. So that was a bad 2 weeks. Abreu was playing every day. DeBarge's playing 3 or 4 times a week. And DeBarge is basically, in line to be the Sun Belt Player of the Year. So it's only been a couple weeks, maybe 3. We'll see if Abreu can snap out of it like DeBarge did, right? It certainly wasn't a home run against Tulane, but I think it was a big home run that got him going or relaxing at the plate early on in the season. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. Schultzycast, again, that's continuing to grow. Forgot to put the episode on Spotify yesterday. We will do that right now before I head off to a workout. Hopefully it's a better workout than I had yesterday. I have not eaten great this week, unfortunately, and we need to get back down because I was headed in the right direction. So not eating horribly, but the popcorn, small popcorns at the ballpark, not much of fat is in there, but obviously there's plenty of salt, and that's going to retain water, and that's going to make me bigger. So, all right. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Schultzycast. I have mentioned there is something on the horizon. We'll see how close we are to that. I will certainly keep you updated. I would say the proverbial ball is rolling. And again, a very unsuspecting entity has reached out. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I would say either way, we'll continue to do the Schultzycast. We'll see what time we do it at. It may move time frame. No, there's no reason to not do it because regardless of Matt, who's on in the afternoons, and I know there's a huge LSU contingent here, there's just nobody talking Cajuns in the mornings or in the afternoons. So I will take advantage of that and talk Raging Cajuns sports. So along with everything else, right, we need to get into the draft. Chris Rosgvalu, went out and, there's no hype around the Saints because, well, they need to draft an offensive lineman. That's why there's no hype, right? They need a tackle. We know what they need, and we're pretty sure we know what they're going to get. So go get a tackle. It's not exciting, but it is necessary. Well, plus you're not in the top 5. You are in, the problem, as Chris pointed out, you're in no man's land, right? You're not good enough to where you're drafting, in the high 20s or Super Bowl contender, and you're not bad enough to where you're getting a top 5 pick to where you either get a really great player or trading back to get multiple picks. The Saints are in no man's land. And it's unfortunately with the decisions that they've made over the last handful of years, I'm not sure that's going to change anytime soon. All right. But we will eventually get into that, and maybe we can start getting some interviews as well as bonus content. Again, tough to get somebody to get up at 6:55 to join me live. So I appreciate the people who would come on, but I got to work around their schedule first thing in the morning. So again, thanks for tuning in to the Schultzycast. I guess quickly, Calipari was announced yesterday. Kentucky's still looking for their coach. I guess it's going to be Scott Drew. I am surprised about that, but I guess if he's making $3.5 million and they're going to offer 10, that's not much of a surprise. All right, we will be back tomorrow. We'll recap the Pelicans game. We'll review my bourbon raffle, see if I walk away with a bottle on better than a 1 in 4 chance, and we'll preview Cajuns in the herd. And you got Tennessee and LSU. So still lots to do tomorrow. Thanks for tuning into the Schultzycast. Please subscribe on YouTube. And of course, over on Apple Podcast, rate and review. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great Thursday, everybody. And we'll talk to you again on Friday.